The old metal shrieked in protest, a long, drawn-out groan that echoed slightly in the otherwise quiet hallway. I braced my shoulder against the locker door, pushing with all my might, trying to dislodge years of accumulated rust and neglect. It was locker 317, my new locker at Westview High, a school I'd only been attending for 3 days. The main office had apologized for its state, mumbling something about it being out of commission for ages, sealed shut, probably just a stuck latch. But it felt more like a vault than a locker. Finally, with one last desperate shove, a sharp crack reverberated through the corridor. The door gave way, swinging open with a sigh of escaping dust and a faint, musty scent. A metallic tang of aged dust mixed with something indefinably old, like forgotten paper. I waved a hand in front of my face, clearing the air, a knot of curiosity tightening in my stomach. What could be so thoroughly sealed in a standard school locker? Inside, it was dark, far darker than it should have been. I reached in, feeling around for a light switch that wasn't there, before pulling out my phone and flicking on its flashlight. The beam cut through the gloom, illuminating a surprisingly neat, though dusty interior. There were no textbooks, no abandoned gym clothes, no forgotten notes, just a single shoebox-sized container resting on the bottom shelf. It was a simple, beige cardboard box, unlabeled. I pulled it out, setting it gently on the floor of the locker. The moment my fingers brushed against it, a strange sense of anticipation, almost a premonition, washed over me. I lifted the lid. Inside, nestled amongst a thin layer of fine dust, were photographs. Hundreds of them, it seemed, stacked haphazardly. Faded sepia tones mingled with brighter, more recent colors. I picked up the first one. It was a class photo, kids smiling awkwardly at the camera. My eyes scanned the faces, then froze. In the third row, just slightly off-center, was me. Or rather, a girl who looked exactly like me. Same wavy brown hair, same distinctive mole near her left eye, same slightly crooked smile. But this wasn't my class. I didn't recognize any of the other students or the teacher. The date stamped on the corner read Fall Semester 2019. A shiver traced its way down my spine. That was 2 years ago. I was still at Northwood then, a completely different school in a different town. This was impossible. I picked up another photo. This one, too, showed me or my doppelganger in a science lab dissecting something unidentifiable, surrounded by faces I'd never seen before. Spring semester 2020, the date declared. The sense of unreality began to bloom. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. A prank? But how? Who would go to such elaborate lengths? And why me? I sifted through more photos. Me in the school library, looking intently at a book, a Westview High banner visible in the background. Me on the soccer field, though I've never played soccer. Me at what looked like a school dance, laughing with a group of friends I didn't know. Each photo a perfect snapshot of a life I hadn't lived, all here within the walls of Westview High. The dates on these pictures spanned years, from 2019 right up to what was clearly the current school year, 2021. My breath hitched. This was beyond a prank. This was unsettling. I was an only child. I had no twin. And yet here I was, seemingly living a parallel existence in a school I'd only just arrived at. A cold dread, far deeper than any chill from the air conditioning, began to seep into my bones. And then, buried at the very bottom, beneath all the others, I found it. A single, distinct photo. It was a close-up, a selfie it looked like. My face, unmistakably mine, but with a slight weariness in the eyes I didn't recognize. I was wearing my favorite blue hoodie, the one I had on today. Behind me, blurred, was the familiar brick wall of the school's courtyard just outside the cafeteria. My gaze dropped to the bottom of the photo. The date. Today's date. The exact day. And scrawled beneath it in neat, looping handwriting that felt strangely familiar. were 2 words: last day. The world seemed to tilt. My hands started to tremble, the photo crinkling slightly in my grip. Last day. Not of school, certainly. It was only September. Not of the week. It was a Tuesday. A profound stillness settled over me, a chilling realization that whatever this was, it was not benign. It was a message, a premonition. I just stood there, my mind racing, trying to process the impossible. Had someone lived this life before me? Had someone known this was coming? Or was it a warning? The girl in the photos, she looked happy, integrated, loved. But this final image, this last day photo, felt like a period at the end of a sentence, a finality. I carefully placed the photo back in the box, then closed the lid, sealing it once more. The locker door was still ajar, breathing in the hallway air. I reached for it, slowly pulling it shut. The silence that followed felt heavy, pregnant with unspoken questions. What was I supposed to do with this? Scream? Run? Pretend I never found it? The initial shock began to give way to a strange sense of clarity. Whether it was a bizarre prank, a forgotten past, or a glimpse into a terrifying future, I knew one thing: I had to live this day. I had to pay attention. I had to be present. Because even if last day truly meant what it implied, the photos also showed a life full of moments, connections, laughter. And perhaps, just perhaps, knowing this, I could change the narrative. I could choose to make today, this day that was marked as last, into something else, a new beginning. The mystery of Locker 317 remains suspended in the musty air of the hallway, but the photos had spoken, and I had heard them. Now it was up to me to write the next chapter, starting right now, in this very moment. This story of Alara's mysterious locker and the unsettling discovery of a past she never lived and a future warning lingers with a peculiar echo, doesn't it? It makes you wonder about the threads that connect us, the unseen forces, or even just the strange coincidences that life throws our way. Have you ever encountered something in your life that felt profoundly out of place, like a message from another time or dimension, a moment that made you pause and question everything? I'd love to hear your thoughts on Alara's experience. What do you think last day really means? Is it a warning, a prank, or something else entirely? Share your theories in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, consider subscribing or following for more tales that delve into the quiet mysteries of everyday life. Until next time, stay curious and always, always pay attention to the little details.